In this first tutorial, we're going to work through 3 examples. I'm just going to give you the lowdown of some of the basics and then we'll work through our examples together. We're going to play through each example 10 times. And each time we play, the speed will increase by 5%. If you find that you can't keep up at any point, you need to stop and address any issues that you have with your technique overall. It could simply be that your pick isn't close enough to the strings as you play, or you're holding your pick at an incorrect angle, but you need to be honest with yourself. If you can't keep up, you need to work out why. That's how you're going to make the most amount of progress in the shortest space of time possible. All right, let's get started. But before we do, you need to know that this is a quarter note and it's a note that lasts for 1 beat. To keep it really, really simple, we're going to give this a name. We're going to call it T because it sounds like the word tea. This is a pair of 8th notes. And again, to keep it really, really simple, we're going to give it a phonetic name, i.e. a name that sounds the way that it sounds. We're going to call this coffee. Each one of the notes here lasts for half a beat. So when I work through the examples here, I'm going to use the words coffee and tea so that you know exactly how it's supposed to sound in advance. The first thing I want you to do is think about how you hold your guitar pick. Make sure that you hold it in between your thumb and your index finger like this. I'm not really going to talk about this anymore in this video. If you want any more help, please do make sure you leave me a comment and I'll help out where I can. The next thing, make sure that you've got your pick at a slight angle as it hits the string. This will help your pick slice through the string more efficiently than if you had your pick perpendicular to the string. So you don't want this, you want this. This slight angle will reduce the amount of friction that's experienced by the pick when it hits the string. And ultimately, this will allow you to play faster in the future. Also, make sure that as your pick hits the string, you keep your pick close to the string. Don't do this, because the further your pick gets from the string, the more time it takes for you to get your pick back to the string to play the next note. This is highly inefficient and again, it will slow you down in the future. Our first example looks like this. So we're going to play our open string using a rhythm that goes tea, coffee, tea, coffee. We're going to play this in 2 ways using our pick. In the first bar, we're going to just use downs. So it's going to go down, 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 down. Then in the second bar, we're going to go down, down, up, down, down, up. Make sure that when you're doing upstrokes that you keep your pick close to the strings just in the same way as when you do downstrokes. So the second bar is going to sound like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up. I would also like you to try to palm mute this, and I'm going to assume that you know what palm muting is. I don't want it to be a heavy palm mute though, I want it to be a gentle one, and make sure that you don't play your string overly hard, otherwise you will tire out your picking hand and arm. 2, 3, 4. this second example, we're going to swap our note values around. So here we're going to have coffee, tea, coffee, tea. In this last example, we're going to have straight eighth notes. So that's all coffees. The first bar is going to be just downstrokes. The second bar is going to be down, up, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the last part of this video, we're going to put together all of the things that we've learned so far into a short piece of music. We're basically just going to go through the three ideas one after the other, but with some drums in the background. Feel free to turn on some distortion here so it just sounds a little bit more metal. Notice how I was using a clean guitar sound when we were practicing together. You should always practice your fundamentals with a clean sound because distortion, as cool as it is, hides your mistakes. One final thing before we have a go at this, we're going to repeat each example twice. But there's going to be no gap between the examples here. We're just going to play example 1 twice, example 2 twice, example 3 twice, finish. And remember, the first bar of each example is all downstrokes and the second one contains combinations of downs and upstrokes. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to the 60 Seconds of Shred YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos like this in the very near future.